Archbishop Fulton Sheen moves closer to sainthood after Pope Francis approves a miracle attributed to his intercession. The Vatican announcement comes a little over a week after the venerable Archbishop's remains were transferred from St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City to Peoria, Illinois, where he was ordained. Archbishop Sheen, who died in 1979, was known for his on-air evangelization in the 50s and 60s. The date for his beatification has not yet been announced. Joining me now is Monsignor Jason Gray, pastor of St. Thomas Parish in Peoria Heights in Illinois. In 2011, Monsignor Gray carried out the investigation of the miraculous healing of a newborn child through the intercession of Archbishop Fulton Sheen. Monsignor, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you.
Tell us about the miracle and the investigation.
Sure. It's really a remarkable story about a child that was born without signs of life, and for 61 minutes did not show any signs of heartbeat or respiration until finally the pulse and breathing was recovered. And people sometimes say, you mean 61 seconds? And I said, no, it was 61 minutes.
Wow.
That this was a home birth that they anticipated would go completely normally. Everything indicated that things would be fine. But when the child emerged without those signs of life, they attempted to try to resuscitate the child at home, and then in the ambulance, and in the hospital. So a period of 61 minutes passed before he began breathing again, and the heart began to beat again.
And I'm guessing that they, throughout that time, was asking for the Archbishop's intercession.
Yeah, they were praying to Fulton Sheen, and in fact, the father of the child baptized his son, James Fulton, which was a sign of their devotion and their commitment to the Archbishop.
Well, like I said, I can imagine there's a lot of work that goes into this process. The approval from Pope Francis allows preparations to begin for Archbishop Sheen's beatification. So what is the process of beatification like?
Sure. There are really two main investigations that have to take place before beatification. One investigation into the life and the virtues of the servant of God. So all of his virtues had to be examined and make sure that he practiced them in a heroic manner. And then the second investigation is concurrent with that there needs to be a miracle, and that miracle had to be investigated to see if it was beyond scientific explanation and to prove that there was the intercession of the Archbishop invoked.
And all indications are that this was a miracle.
And not only that, but unanimous on the part of everyone involved.
Wow, incredible. Archbishop Sheen, of course, as you know, giant in American Catholicism, Catholic media. We have him here on EWTN. What has the response been so far about the news?
I think there's tremendous excitement, and it's not only because there's been anticipation that hopefully Fulton Sheen would be beatified, but now that the miracle's been approved, now we know it's a certainty. We're just waiting for the Pope to give us the date. So tremendous excitement knowing that it will take place.
Okay, well, as you mentioned, we have one miracle now attributed to him. We need another in order to move him along in the canonization as a saint. What are the next steps here?
Sure. We, after the beatification, we have to pray for another miracle. So it takes prayers. People have to ask for that miracle. And we'll see if Archbishop Sheen can come through in an even more spectacular way, because this, the first miracle that we just described, it's not an ordinary third-class miracle, as most of them are, but a first-class miracle is something truly extraordinary, like even raising the dead. And some experts even believe that this was actually a first-class miracle. So we'll see if Fulton Sheen can do something even greater for the second miracle that we need for canonization.
Whether his intercession does or doesn't, it's still an incredible story, and incredible just to be able to get to this through this process. Monsignor Jason Gray, pastor of St. Thomas Parish in Peoria Heights in Illinois, thanks so much for talking with us about it.
Thanks for having me.
Well, hello, this is Janet Morena, Executive Director of Priests for Life. Welcome to my program. And you might be saying, oh, Janet, what's the matter? You got the glasses on? Well, just like everyone out there, I went to the eye doctor at lunchtime. I had my eyes dilated. Normally I wear contact lenses, and everything was too blurry to put my contacts in. So I don't think you mind, do you? I don't think so. Well, anyway, did you just see that clip about Archbishop Fulton Sheen? Well, first of all, I'm a native New Yorker. And so, Archbishop Fulton Sheen kind of, he was just around, and we heard him growing up. And nothing would make me happier than to see him not just beatified, but canonized. And do you believe in miracles? I do. And on today's program, We are going to put you on a path that of prayer. You're going to help a couple and a baby. We're going to hear their whole story. But I want you all to be involved and commit today on this program. At the end, we're going to give you a prayer to say every single day for the Archbishop's intercession, because we have a baby that needs to be saved and he needs a miracle. So right now, is joining me is his parents, Mom and Dad. We have Royce and Elise Hood. Welcome to the program.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Well, of course, we know, first of all, how many children do you two have currently?
We have 5, and then number 6 is on the way.
On the way. Well, he's here already. And his name, I love his name, baby Fulton. His name is Fulton, brothers and sisters. And of course, that's because the Hoods are praying to Archbishop Fulton Sheen for a miracle. So first, Elise, why don't you describe what's been happening with your pregnancy so far, and what was the first news, and how did the doctors behave when they heard that your baby has a problem?
Okay, so up until my 20-week sonogram, which they do just to check the anatomy and just kind of your first really in-depth sonogram. Up until then, the pregnancy felt and just seemed very normal, and so everything was going fine as far as I knew. And then I went in for that 20-week sonogram, and I kind of before I went in, I felt kind of more anxious than I had for my other the previous 5 pregnancies. Actually, I didn't know why, and I never probably would have guessed at the time. But when I got there and the technician started doing the sonogram, I could tell pretty quickly that something wasn't right. She just got really quiet, and she kind of quickly did her initial sonogram, and then said the doctor would be in. And he came in with kind of, I think, like 4 other people. So I really knew then. And he just gave us the news. Well, just me, actually. Royce wasn't able to make it then. But he said that our baby, who we didn't know was a boy yet at that time, but he didn't have kidneys, and likely not a bladder either, or it wasn't formed. And so no fluid either, which the fluid, helps the baby develop their lungs so that after they're born, they can, breathe. And so he said there's about it's 95% fatal. There's just not a high percentage chance that the baby will survive after birth. So that was very devastating and shocking, really, to hear. To be honest, his attitude actually was such a blessing, because he was very compassionate and just kind, never said the word abortion or termination, or it just never even went there. So I actually, from the beginning of the diagnosis, I've been so grateful and felt so blessed, because I know a lot of women, don't get that compassion. And no, so we've been very blessed with that.
And matter of fact, I've had on this program before other couples. One couple a few months ago, they had a trisomy 18 baby, and on every appointment, the doctor would bring up and say, you still could do termination here. You could still. And finally, the couple looked at the doctor square in the eyes and say, "Doctor, we don't kill our babies. We give birth to them." I mean, you are blessed that the doctor didn't start down that road for you. Seriously.
Yes, because there were so many emotions and just heartache and stress and just all these different things going on. And I thought, I'm so grateful on top of that I don't have to hear those words that, we just wouldn't even want to go near. So yes, that's it.
And also too, I mean, you have 5 healthy children. So you kind of get into a pattern, right? Like, oh, okay, gonna have another baby. Yay. And news like, oh my gosh, this came from left field. And so tell me, Royce, then, and I guess you came home from work that night and found out, and what was that all like?
Yeah, I think she at least probably called me from the doctor's office, and it was definitely a shock. It's one of those 9/11 moments. You probably don't forget where you were when it happened. So I think I was probably in the kitchen or the living room of our house watching our other 5 children when she texted me. And I think the text at first I could kind of feel like, okay, something from the tone of her text wasn't right. And then she called. And my attitude, like the way I approach everything is, okay, like we'll figure out like what's the solution. We'll figure out what we can do. There's got to be some opportunity here so that we can, do everything we can to help this little baby.
So now, at what point did you name the baby and decide to invoke Archbishop Fulton Sheen's intercession?
I think we found out that he was a boy maybe like 3 weeks after the diagnosis or so, somewhere around there. And it was funny because right away when we got the diagnosis, pretty quickly we started praying to Fulton Sheen, and we went and visited. His tomb is here, located here in Peoria. So we were able to go visit his tomb and pray. We just felt such peace there, and just such a strong feeling of praying to him. I kind of started out praying to so many saints, and it just kind of felt right when, sorry.
Okay.
And so, so it was funny when the doctor told us, he called us and told us the results that Fulton is a boy. Royce just blurted out Fulton Joseph, and it was like I was just thinking the same thing. And it's funny because he's baby, boy number 5. So we've kind of had a tough time with the last couple boys naming them. But Fulton, it was just so natural. We just knew, So
Right.
Yeah, it felt really right and just special.
Yeah. So now, how many weeks in the pregnancy are you now?
I'll be 30 weeks tomorrow.
Okay, good. And when's your next doctor appointment?
I think in 2 weeks. We just had one yesterday. So.
Oh, okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what are the doctors are doing at this point for you and for baby Fulton? Are they still doing an ultrasound? Are they checking on the baby?
Yeah. So, we've kind of we talked about maybe trying to do some different experimental things at first, and it wasn't right for our specific situation, and that was kind of a difficult thing to try to make those really hard big decisions. But thank God, eventually, like I think we both felt really a lot of peace just through prayer, like that we're making the right decisions for Fulton. And so at this point now, they're really monitoring through sonograms, just kind of keeping an eye on him. And we just went yesterday, and his heartbeat sounds really good. And I think he's nice and cozy in there. So that's good.
Oh, yeah, want to keep him cozy, that's for certain. And then have they started to talk to you about a birth plan at this point? Like, what's this going to look like? Because I know even in normal pregnancies with no complications, most moms, they begin to make a birth plan. And are the doctors talking about a birth plan?
Yes, actually, that's a really big part of what they want to do, because, now without doing the experimental treatments and all that, we've decided to we're just relying on God 100%. And if it's his will, then we would love to, see a miracle. So if it's not his will, and we're just enjoying, each day that we have with Fulton, and the birth plan is that we've made is just to have a really peaceful, just birth. And we get to pick out, I've been playing some really pretty music for Fulton at night, and we're going to have that playing in the room, and those different little things that we can do to just create like a really peaceful birth for him and all of us.
Right. And then I'm sure you're going to contact, I'm sure, to have a priest there, and all these steps, so that
right.
And will the doctors at least attempt to resuscitate him, do everything possible at that moment to try?
Yeah, those are all part of these really kind of just hard decisions of all we want is the best for Fulton. So,
right.
Is this the best, or is this the best, and that's kind of what we've been having to decide. Do we want to do, a full resuscitation? I mean, we could, intubate him, you know, or is that just completely futile and going to prolong pain and suffering? So these are all the things that we've had to decide. And so just going with kind of our doctor's advice and just, you know, discussing with ourselves, we've decided to kind of really just comfort care for him. And we're going to have NICU present, and they'll check him right away. And if it looks like, you know, things are better than what they thought, then we'll change our course, and they'll do just full resuscitation. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, I can tell you. Go ahead, Royce. Go ahead.
I was just going to add, I think, sure. And I think one of the hardest decisions that we've ever faced as a couple was deciding not to go kind of that more experimental route that Elise talked about. It was, I mean, you know, so because you want to do, I think as parents, we wanted to do everything we could to give our baby a fighting chance. And so it was really, I think, a growing opportunity for us spiritually and with our relationship as well, to really truly just place this burden of ours at the feet of Jesus on the cross. And that's sort of how I try to look at it.
Right.
And everything Elise said with, you know, if we did some amnio infusions, there's a good chance of preterm labor, and then the baby spends months in NICU. And because of all of the other complications with the spine and the heart that Fulton has, the outcome is almost certain medically. So really our best bet here is to just surround this baby with as much love and joy as we possibly can, and to truly just pray for a miracle.
A miracle, exactly. Well, you know, I can also tell you, you know, in the 30 years plus I've been involved with Father Pavone and the pro-life movement, I can tell you over these decades, I have interviewed many couples that were given, you know, not such good news, and somehow babies are amazing, and doctors can be wrong. You know, I have seen, like, even you know, trisomy 18 babies. I mean, one example, as you know, is Rick Santorum's Bella. I mean, Bella, I think, is now 10 or 11 years old, you know, and she shouldn't have lived more than a few days or a few weeks, you know. So I think what you're doing is you're putting your faith in the Lord and saying, well, God's will be done. And all the medical crew will be there, that if it looks like, okay, it's a go, they're going to right away help Fulton, which I think is great. I see you have other children there. Do they want to, like, wave at the camera, say hi to everybody?
Let's see, here's can you say hi, Leo?
Oh, there they are.
There
they are.
That's guy. He's Superman.
So now I want to tell our viewers here that we want them to participate in helping Fulton, right? We truly believe, you know, another miracle can happen for Archbishop Fulton Sheen, you know, the sainthood. And this would be a really true miracle, like the priest said at the beginning there, because as every test is showing, you know, it doesn't look good, the prognosis, with no kidneys and all these other problems happening. It's not. And I do believe there's a name for the disorder he has. It's called Potter's syndrome, right, Royce?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, Potter's syndrome.
That's correct.
So, you know, I think it's doable. And so I'm asking our audience now, I want you to make a commitment. In a few minutes, we're going to put up a prayer. And I'm going to ask, we're going to say that prayer here together, but then I'm going to ask a commitment for everybody to promise to say this prayer every single day. It said every single day for baby Fulton, asking the intercession of Archbishop Fulton Sheen for a miracle for this baby. And of course, Elise will be back with us in 2 weeks after her doctor appointment. And we'll give you an update. You will be part of the baby Fulton here till whatever happens, okay? But let's go for the miracle. I mean, we serve an awesome God, and like I tell everybody, if God can part the Red Sea, if that's His will, He can through Archbishop Fulton Sheen, He can cure our baby Fulton, and somehow kidneys are going to come. You know, maybe they didn't see the kidneys. I don't know. Maybe the baby was turned a certain way. You know, all kinds of crazy things can happen, right? So I like to be an optimist, and I think in the atmosphere we're here in our country right now, we need something to bring us a little joy, to get positive about, and let's all get here together and root root for baby Fulton. So I'm going to ask my producer to put up the prayer. We have a beautiful prayer card here. And you can go to, I'll tell you at the end, the website you can go to get all this information about the cause for Fulton Sheen. So let's say this prayer together now. Eternal Father, you alone grant us every blessing in heaven and on earth through the redemption mission of your divine Son, Jesus Christ, by the working of the Holy Spirit. In every age, you raise up men and women outstanding in holiness, whose faithful service has contributed significantly to the mission of the church. In this very way, you use the life and work of your servant, Archbishop Fulton Sheen. He inspired great numbers of Catholics and other people of goodwill to grow in virtue and lead lives pleasing to you and of service to their brothers and sisters in need. He encouraged them to embrace the gospel of life by recognizing that in all its circumstances, life is worth living. If it be according to your will, Eternal Father, glorify your servant, Archbishop Fulton John Sheen, by granting the favor I now request through his prayerful intercession. And our request is, Lord, to cure baby Fulton Hood and bring about a beautiful, beautiful birth and cure him of all the illnesses. Let us find kidneys, let him be free of this disease, and let him have a full and healthy life. So we're asking for a miracle for that baby Fulton. I make this prayer confidently in Jesus' name through the merits of his passion, death, and resurrection. Amen. And everyone could get that prayer then on, I'm going to ask my producer to put up for everybody the website. He'll get that up in a minute. And so the task at hand, brothers and sisters, is it's up to you. Can you make a commitment? I want to see some of our viewers give me comments. Can you make a commitment to pray for baby Fulton? I'm going to be praying that prayer. I'm promising, okay, Elise and Royce. I will pray that prayer every single day. I'm going to have Father Pavone pray that prayer. I'm going to even have my staff at our morning briefing pray that prayer for baby Fulton. I believe we serve an awesome God. And I think, like you said, you guys have such great faith. And if it's God's will, we can make a miracle here. Okay, so here's the website. It's Fulton Sheen, what is it, .institute, right?
Yes.
FultonSheen.institute. If you go there, that's where the prayer for asking for a miracle for Fulton Sheen is. So everyone can access the prayer. And I want to hear from everybody that you're doing it. And we are going to have Elise, and if Royce can join us, if he's out of court, we'll have him join us too in 2 weeks from today, and we'll get an update on or people already telling me, I will pray, people are committing to prayer. Okay, we're getting messages in now. Hallelujah, thank you, thank you. The more the merrier. And if you're praying, get other members of your family to pray. Let's get a miracle for this baby. I believe we can do it. Let's storm heaven through the intercession of Archbishop Fulton Sheen. And you know something? Here's a little side note. I actually knew one of the priests that was working on his cause there in Peoria, Monsignor Sosman. I don't know if you heard of Monsignor Sosman. He used to work in Rome at the Congregation for Clergy. And he was one of the people working on his cause. And he came back, about a year or so ago, back to Peoria. He finished his assignment from Rome, but I got news a few months ago, he passed away from COVID-19. So I also have an extra passion to want to see Archbishop Fulton Sheen canonized too, because I knew how hard, Monsignor Sosman worked on his cause. So I want to thank you, Elise and Royce, for joining us and your lovely family. And like I said, we got a mission here, and we're going to go about it. And you're going to be back in 2 weeks. And I think Royce will have a special song we're going to play, and you're going to get to hear Fulton's heartbeat in 2 weeks. So join us when they return in 2 weeks, and we'll be praying. Okay? Thanks for joining
so much. And thank you everyone for your prayers.
Okay.
We really appreciate it. Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Well, brothers and sisters, thank you for joining us today. And we've got a mission now, and I think you're all going to join with me on this mission. And let's start praying every day, that prayer. And in 2 weeks, we'll be giving you the report as we follow this baby through this journey. Going to be a difficult journey for that baby, but we also serve an awesome God. So this is Janet Morana signing off. Thanks for joining us.